Pleasure of introducing Ian Hamilton, one of my followers from at the Port of Hamilton. Ian Hamilton is the President and CEO of the Hamilton Ottawa Port Authority since 2017, after serving as the Vice President of Business Development and Real Estate since 2008. Ian possesses more than 25 years of experience in international transportation and logistics in Europe and North America, and has held progressively senior positions in the liner shipping industry. He's also a member of the Institute of Logistics and Transport North America, and he currently serves as the president of the Ontario Marine Transportation Forum. So welcome, Ian.
Thanks, thanks, Keith. I'm just going to... There we go. Try a different one here.
There we go.
I'll figure this out. Oh, I will go for that. Anyway, I didn't bring too much about actually the Hamilton Oshawa Port Authority, but I'll give you a little bit of an overview and talk more about following on from where Louis Paul was talking. But we're as the name indicates, we operate both the port authorities in Hamilton and Oshawa. On a normal year, we would carry about 12 million metric tons of cargo through the ports, worth about probably $3 to $3.5 billion, and that's carried by about 650 ships. But what I really wanted to talk about was sort of the honor that we have of working with Transport Canada in developing the multimodal integration pillar for the data side of things, and how what opportunities we see. And certainly Louis Paul's introduced the idea to you, and what it means. But I wanted to talk a little bit more about the goals and what we hope to achieve, and also the mechanics of what it actually looks like. So as you've seen from previous presentations, it's all part of the Transport Canada Supply Chain Visibility Project, which we really applaud the initiative. We certainly see that data is the new currency, and we believe there's a lot of opportunity for us to develop better transportation systems through better analysis of the data. We're part of one of three pillars in the project. The first one focused mainly on or more on planning and policy, and that's led by the University of Toronto. The second one, led by the Toronto Board of Trade, is a much more business-focused one, and they've got a real emphasis on last-mile delivery and really that e-commerce space, and the package delivery, and how you create a transportation system in a densely populated area. Our pillar that we're supporting Transport Canada on as the data steward is the multimodal integration pillar, and it's a real exciting one. It deals much more with the long distance transportation, and it focuses on all the different modes. It has a particular focus on southern Ontario and the greater Toronto area, and you've seen this slide before from Louis Paul, and it just illustrates that we've really got the ability now to draw on information from probably eight different sources and put it into one data warehouse, and we would act as the steward for that data warehouse. So we're looking at information from truck, we're looking at information from rail, we're looking at information from marine. You can see the various different sources, specifically talking about commodity information as well. So it's the first time, I think, that we've seen where we break down the silos of how this information is held and put it all into one location, which will allow us to pursue different opportunities. As Marin showed, there's some real neat stuff on the AIS information, which will help us to understand capacity and flows. As Ken pointed out, there's some information from the seaway that understands again the flows of the traffic. But how do we take it full advantage? And as Ken mentioned, there is capacity in the system, which is an interesting discussion, because there is certainly capacity to put more ships in the system, but the real capacity exists from the existing assets that are moving through the system that still have space available. When you look at the biggest challenge, where close to 50% of all transportation moving around the globe is moving around empty. How do we leverage the data that we have to try to pull it all together and try to take advantage of that opportunity? We're, as I mentioned, we're focused on the Golden Horseshoe region, which today is the fourth largest economic region in North America, and it's currently the fastest growing region in North America, and predicted to be at 8 million people in the next couple of years. But it's also facing a phenomenal challenge. And as Metrolinx pointed out a few presentations ago, but there's about an estimated $6 billion cost to the greater Golden Horseshoe economy based on congestion. And this is a huge impact on making Canadian businesses and Southern Ontario businesses competitive. And we believe through better data understanding, capacity issues, and cargo flows, and also the asset flows, that we're going to be able to start to find solutions that may be able to address those challenges. But you can see from the map where the biggest concentration is, and it's easy to see that where you kind of starting with sort of the Durham region and Oshawa here, and stretching around into Hamilton here, that it really is we're ideally positioned to be a great catalyst in trying to find new ways to actually take advantage of a better modal balance in creating better supply chain solutions. So what our actual project goals are, first and foremost, is transparency within the Southern Ontario supply chain market. So this will help to improve making infrastructure decisions, and addressing bottlenecks and improving flows and making the right investments. It'll help us to understand the trends and how cargo flows are evolving and what's changing. It'll bring the stakeholders. We want to bring the stakeholders and partners together to create supply chain solutions. So this is really where we want to, similar to what Ken talked about the Seaway as a catalyst, we really want this data hub to be a catalyst to starting conversations of how do we create a better mousetrap and a better logistics system in Southern Ontario. So we want to develop certainly leverage Hamilton and Oshawa's geographic locations, and work closely with the city of Hamilton as one of our key stakeholders in trying to improve the flows and support businesses in that geographic area. And similar goes for Durham region. One of our challenges, and Ken talked about it a few times, is the sensitivity around the data, and we want to create certainly a governance model which allows us to support business decisions, but at the same time protect proprietary information. And that's something that we're working on now with Transport Canada to try to establish, and it'll mean having the trust from all of our different stakeholders to ensure that they're benefiting from the system, but at the same time don't feel that their proprietary information is being exposed. The biggest piece of it, of course, is the modal optimization. And as Louis Paul started out today talking about a multimodal strategic plan, and one of the presentations from last session really focused in on that. We truly don't believe that Ontario today has a developed multimodal plan. And as I mentioned earlier, we believe that most of the modes from the data side and from an integration side very much live in silos and see each other as competitive. So when we talk about modal optimization, we're not talking about modal shift, which has been one of the terms used in previous times, but really getting that modal balance. We see that every single mode, truck, rail, and marine, all play a critical role in making our supply chains efficient and sustainable. So it's really creating that integrated solution, and using the data from all of the different sources to allow us to do that. So ultimately, we'd like to facilitate the discussion to create new transportation products and services. Is there a better way to use the capacity on the Great Lakes to move work closely with the ground transportation operators to find ways to operate with them that'll reduce congestion and costs and greenhouse gases. Very much we want to create a more cost-effective supply chain through the analytics of data, and that's through and that'll support trade diversification and additional export of key products like the agricultural products. Again, talking about fluidity and the $6 billion congestion problem, we believe that again, better understanding of the data is going to help us to better make decisions, and no longer will we be looking at things in isolation, but saying that by looking at all modes under one in one data hub will give us show us the opportunities and allow us to create the new products to improve those efficiencies. Hopefully, the goal would be to it ultimately relieves congestion, or helps to relieve some of the congestion, address some of our current challenges that we're faced with, including driver shortages, and also ultimately create a more efficient and sustainable system that will reduce greenhouse gas emissions. We think that we're well positioned to do this because we work very closely with Marine every day, of course, but also very much with both of the Class 1 railways. We bookend the Greater Golden Horseshoe, and we also work very, very closely with the trucking community. And there's currently there's probably about 500,000 trucks a year that come on and off Hamilton Oshawa Port Authority properties, which is quite an important number to recognize, and understanding where that how those modes can operate together. Stakeholders, again, we talked very much about the municipalities and operating with Niagara, Durham, City of Hamilton, and the Greater Toronto Area. The province, I think, is the biggest beneficiary of some of these potential products that could be developed by reducing congestion and the greenhouse gases and improving efficiencies. Again, I think that Ken's comment about being a catalyst, I believe that working very, very closely with the St. Lawrence Seaway in understanding how to what products and what services and information we can provide them to support Ken's work as a catalyst to developing trade. Certainly private sector companies and the ultimate beneficial cargo owner are going to be critical to all of this, because they're going to want the most cost-efficient supply chain, and then working with the three different modes. So both shipping, trucking, and rail lines to work closely. How do we integrate together for all of us to win? Firmly with the belief that a rising tide raises all ships, and a more efficient transportation system is going to benefit all of the different modes. And then on top of all of that, probably our biggest stakeholder and the key is Transport Canada. And as I mentioned, we're honored to be able to play a role and support them in developing this hub that hopefully helps us to facilitate and add some new products. Again, what our specific role is going to be is first and foremost is being the responsible stewards, ensuring that the data is held in a usable way, but also protected where it needs to be protected, and distributed as it should be distributed, where proprietary information is definitely again protected, but also we're able to push enough information out that companies and other entities can make good business decisions and infrastructure decisions. The transportation sector insight. So I think that just our exposure to all the different modes will help us to facilitate some of the discussions, and maybe be a catalyst in helping to kickstart some analytical projects that'll help really private sector develop new products to take advantage of the capacities and try to reduce some of the challenges that or address some of the challenges we're faced with today. Again, you saw the stakeholder list, which is a pretty large list, but I think it's our role to really be able to convene and bring together the stakeholders to discuss their challenges and identify their problems, and hopefully find opportunities that can be supported by data analytics. And that ultimately leads to designing research projects that address real problems and create the evidence-based information that's necessary to create change the way we do things, to take advantage of some of the capacities that exist in the system today. We would oversee the analytical partners, and then first and foremost it's our goal that as much information as possible, aligned with what Transport Canada's goal is pushed out into the public domain. We really believe the more that municipal, provincial, and the federal government understands, the more that private sector companies understand, the more innovative they're all going to become to make good decisions to address the challenges that we're currently faced with. From a data and analytical side, we see primarily the biggest partner at this stage would be McMaster University and the MITL program. And really, they're going to probably take on the big meaty projects, the ones that are going to take a lot of deep dive analysis. HOPA will develop an internal data team, and they're going to really look at more of the ad hoc and the spot projects and the more short-term, quick fix type of solutions that we need to do. But also, I think there's opportunities to look at other partnerships, and one could be with the AAS group, or one more importantly also with the Seaway. And I know they've got a good data analytical team, and there could be good ways to collaborate and liaise in that way. But certainly out of the gate, it's a small unit that will be developed internally. But the relationship we have with McMaster and the analytical support that they will give in their that side of things will be critical to our success. So the benefits to the stakeholders, access to various sources of data, and I think I talked a little bit about that, but it's the integration of the data. And I don't think we've ever seen a project that is pulling together so many different data sources that covers all of the different modes of transportation, which will really really allow them to make decisions and in an integrated way. Results provided in a solution-based package. So really, I think that this actually gives us the information we need, and it really starts to allow us to make evidence-based decisions, as opposed to, again, as I said, the sort of the silo thinking that we've been dealing with in the past. And then the no need to manage large data. Again, hopefully by putting together this data hub, we're able to really simplify the process and allow access to answers in a much more cost-effective and efficient way. And ultimately, we see every stakeholder will have a different set of priorities, but all can benefit from those three key items of an integrated data system, answering questions with evidence-based research based on data, and then really simplifying and speeding up the process. So really where we are and working with Transport Canada on the next steps is first and foremost, we complete our data governance and data sharing agreements, which we hope to have done in the third quarter of this year, develop of the data structure and the analytics, and we even start tomorrow in discussions with MITL on this side of things. We complete the data public access, so that's really what are our rules and operations, how are we going to open up this database to the stakeholders, and then ultimately provide data and analytics to the Canadian Centre on Transportation Data and into the private sector. So that's I know it wasn't too much about the Hamilton Oshawa Port Authority, but more one of our projects that we're working with Transport Canada, but see that it's a cornerstone in developing a better integrated transportation system in the Southern Ontario area, and we're again very honored to be playing the role that we're playing. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much.